Hello and welcome back to My Artist Friend. I am your host, Becky Helms, and this is a podcast about the artist behind the art. And today we've got a solo episode, and I'm going to be talking to you about spring cleaning. So, in this episode, I have it broken down by kind of spring cleaning your creative projects, like your personal projects, but also some things you can do to kind of spring clean your business. So once it gets started, I will start out with personal projects and then I'll move into business spring cleaning. This is specifically for people who have product-based businesses, which is what I did for years and years and years. I have some tips for kind of auditing things and stuff like that. If you don't have a business, then you can feel free to skip that back half. So I wanted to put the personal stuff up first because I think that can work for everybody. And then if you don't have a business, then you can just peace out and that's fine. I totally get it. I'm still trying to find a balance between personal content, creative content, business things, because that was my life for so long, was owning a shop. But I figured I'd break it up this way. You get it. You know what to do. I don't need to tell you anything. Anyway, so the weather's been changing. We actually have some flowers blooming here in southern Michigan, and I'm feeling like spring. Spring is here. It's coming. It's on the horizon. There is hope. So I'm trying not to have big black bag energy. That's what Kendra Adachi from the Lazy Genius podcast calls it. Because I look around, it's getting warmer. We've got stuff everywhere. We're going to chuck it all. You know what I mean? And I'm resisting that urge. And this writing out this podcast has actually kind of helped me to chill out that energy and make a better plan. This is going to be a shorter episode. I say that at the top, not knowing at all how long I'm going to ramble. So we'll see. As we know, everything I do takes longer than expected. Okay, let's just get into it. So the first thing that I recommend for a spring cleaning in terms of your creative projects, your personal projects, your hobbies, is to go back and listen to episode 6, which is my creative retrospective for 2024. And that episode is all about kind of seeing what worked for me last year, what needed some tweaking, and then what didn't work. And it's a really good way to kind of assess what you want to be doing creatively. I got the idea from Carla, who is episode 2 of Shark City Slicker and Shark City Stitcher. She has such a well-rounded creative life that she inspired me to do my own kind of retrospective. So basically, you look at your projects, you look at your hobbies, you look at the things that you are spending your time on, and think, what is working? What is lighting me up? What do I enjoy? What feels fulfilling? And those things are the ones to take with you into kind of the next season of life. And there might be some things that didn't work. Did you try to start a new hobby that you were like, I'm going to get all this stuff and it's going to be great and I'm going to knit sweaters and, all this stuff. And then now you're sitting with a ton of yarn and knitting needles and you're like, I don't know, man. Maybe there's something about the process that needs some tweaking. Think about, is this something I care about enough to work on it? Is this something that I care about enough to think maybe I need a new book to read about it? Maybe I need to find a different YouTuber that goes into it. Maybe I need to find a local thing at my library where people will teach me how to do this in person. Maybe there's just a different vehicle that I need to do this. Or is it something that's just truly not working and you're trying to fit, a round peg in a square hole? You know what I mean? And maybe those things just need to go by the wayside. It is okay to quit. It is so amazingly okay to quit. So when you're thinking about these things, kind of think about, what is fulfilling to you? Is there something that's fulfilling to you mentally? Is there something that's fulfilling to you physically? Maybe you have a hobby maybe you love running and you join a run club. You know what I mean? Maybe you do ice skating like Carla. Maybe you just love to go to the gym. Maybe there are group classes that you enjoy, and that kind of thing lights you up in like a creative way. Are there things that, light you up spiritually? Are these things fulfilling in a way that feeds your soul? Think about it in different terms. Maybe think about it in the different aspects of your life and see where things fit and if what you're doing is filling your cup, like doing this podcast absolutely fills my cup creatively. I could be talking into the void. No one could be listening, but doing this stuff, feeling like I'm being helpful, putting my knowledge out there is really fun for me. It's just a different kind of creativity. And I will keep doing it, even if I'm screaming into the void. You know what I mean? Because it is fulfilling. Same with my newsletter. Oh my gosh. Sharing small businesses, talking about crafts, chatting about books. Like, I'm a yapper and I love it. And the newsletter is so, so fun for me creatively. And those things are really working, So just take a minute, go through the retrospective, maybe make a list of all of the kind of hobbies that you've got, the things that you want to try, the things that are sitting by the wayside, and just think about what's working, what's not working, and what needs a little bit of tweaking. Just take a couple hours to think on it. Not even two. You don't have to make it crazy. And once you know what you want to concentrate on, now is the time to organize. So this is for my people with half-done projects. I know you're there. With quilt tops that need to be basted and quilted and binded. I don't even know. Your girl's got two. All right. I've got stuff everywhere. And then, of course, I've got a list of quilts that I want to make. I'm like, I need to finish what I've got. Do you have like a crochet sweater that you haven't finished yet? Is there a blanket that's sitting there undone? Do you have bits of jewelry and beads all over the place that you're like, I'm going to make this pair of earrings, and then you got interrupted and it just left? Do you have any half-finished projects? If you're here with me, I'm going to assume that you have the tendency to have half-finished projects because we are the same people. So if you have anything that you want to see through, I want you to set it aside. I want you to put it somewhere that makes it really easy for you to get. Maybe if you've got some other supplies that you need, if there's something you needed to run out and get, like make that list and put it somewhere where you can get to it easily and finish it quickly. You know what I mean? And are there any half-finished projects that you're like, there's a reason it's half-finished? You didn't have fun with that. You ran out of supplies and it was just not important enough to take the trip out to go get more stuff or order online or whatever. Like, you were just not feeling it. If you have those half-finished projects, crafts that didn't really click, why don't you just let it go? Just let it go. It's okay. Because the best thing about organizing and cleaning out supplies, right, is that there are places that are reuse stores. And I really hope you have one near you, because there was Creative Reuse in Austin. There's a place called Scrap here in Ann Arbor, but you can donate, projects or supplies or all kinds of stuff. Just go to their website, see what they take, and then the other creators can pick up where you left off. Even some thrift stores will take half-done projects. Like, I was just at the Kiwanis thrift down here, and there were quilt blocks they weren't done or sewn into a top or anything like that, but they were quilt blocks that someone could just take and finish. And I think that's so lovely that you can pick up someone else's work and give it a home. You know what I mean? So after you have figured out what projects are sitting around that you want to finish, you put those aside, make it easy to get to and finish and get excited about. If you have those half-finished projects that you really just want to let go of. And then you can kind of go through your stash. Now, here's the thing about crafters and their crafting stash. At least for me, I feel like I don't know when I'm going to use this. I don't know if I'm going to have a project that needs these very specific pony beads, like I don't want to let it go. And as someone who moved just a couple years ago, and I took a ton of stuff to Creative Reuse, Austin Creative Reuse. And I'm so glad that other people can use those supplies and things. But now I am sitting here like, oh, I wish I'd kept my soap supplies because I kind of want to make soap again. And so find the balance. If there are things that definitely for sure, I don't need these anymore. I want to pass it along to another crafter. Do it to it. Now is a fantastic time to do that. And then also just keep all of the things that you want to keep because we are the way that we are. Okay, that feels good. I'm going to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my quilt tops and get them set together with the batting that I need and make sure my backing fabric is all done. I'm going to put those all together. So all I have to do is sit and maybe I'll baste them both at the same time. I'll do a little batching, and then I can move on. So that's kind of on my to-do list. And of course, next on my to-do list, as you heard in my personal projects episode, is to get this office into a place where I can actually do some crafting. So that'll be good. But that's kind of my first plan. I don't really have a lot of stuff to donate because I'm almost kind of starting from scratch with a few things. But if I did, I would. I've done it before. Mildly regret it, but it's fine. But yeah, the quilts are my big plan. I'm going to take them, put them where I can get to them, and finish them. And it'll be great. And I know you can do the same. I have faith in you. And I'd love to know what you're working on that you are going to pick up and finish. Okay, now that the personal stuff is all taken care of, I'm going to get into the business stuff. So this is where, if you're done, you're done. Bye. Have fun. I love you. Find me everywhere. But for your business stuff, I like to call it a business audit. And this is very bare bones. This is just little things. I'm not trying to overwhelm you with like overhauling your website and, doing all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to ask you to do a ton of stuff. I mean, you just got through tax season. All right. You need a minute. But first things first is to do a quick website audit. So first thing I always did was do your available products match your inventory? I ask this as someone who many times forgot to set drafts of products live for a week, 2 weeks. Oh, nobody wants this pen. That's a bummer. I thought it was cute. Oh, it's not. It's not live on the site. No. I was not immune. Just make sure. Take a quick peek through your inventory and see. I'm not asking you to do inventory. You just went through tax season. All right. Now is not the time. You already did that. You should have. But I just want you to take a look, see if there are any drafts hanging out, if there's anything funky that you need to, any duplicates. You can even check through and make sure that your listing info, photos, all that kind of stuff matches. Just take a quick look, make sure everything looks right and everything is live and for sale. And now, after you've done that, there are a few things that you can do with your photos on your website. Are there any new photos you can take? Did you get something in, you got really excited, you wanted to release it, you took pictures with your phone, they look fantastic, but they don't match everything else? You know what I mean? Do you have things that are just very different aesthetically wise with your photography? Is there anything that you wanted to go back in and make quick videos of? Just, 5 seconds of holding it in your hand so people could see the shine of the pen or the colors of the glitter or just the scale of it, things like that. Videos like that do really well and help with conversions. Is there anything that you want to do creatively with your photos to make them match with everything else on your website? take a peek at that, because I would do that all the time. I had some things that were professionally shot. I had some things that were shot with my camera. I had some things that I would just take with my phone and edit on my phone. And while they generally looked similar, sometimes I needed to add more photos to a listing. Sometimes the color was just not quite right. So now is a time, if you have a minute, to either get out your camera, make things look a little bit more consistent. Now, while you're doing that, can you compress your photos? Can you make your website run a little bit faster? So you can take your photos, even the ones that you already have up that are fine and you love, and toss them through tiny JPEG or tinypng.com. I'll have links to those, and they'll compress them. There are plenty of other programs that you can use to compress your files, but that one's a quick and free one. I think you can do like 10 at a time and compress them. So the quality is still the same, but any extra data that might be making the file big is out of there. And it just makes your website run faster. And the faster it loads, the quicker people can buy. And people's attention span is just so fast right now that you don't want them. The second they're sitting and something's churning, they're going to go. So compress your photos if you can, if you've got time. And are your photos, do you have alt tags for them for accessibility and SEO? So if you go, I use Shopify. If you click into your photos, there is a part where you can put alt tags, like metadata information, basically. So there are kind of screen readers. So people can, click on their program and it will describe to them in like a little audiobook reading, like this is a cat sitting in a cardboard box and it says loaf, enamel pen made by Everyday Olive. That's similar to something that they have. But if you put in, and there are plenty of websites that you can look at to kind of optimize that to make it easier for screen readers and stuff like that. But take a minute to do that because it's fantastic for accessibility because people with low vision want super cute stuff too. And it's good for SEO too, because there's just more information about your pin or your product, whatever it is. I just default to pins because that was my life. So when it comes to the photos, are there new photos you can take? Can you compress your photos? And do you have alt tags for accessibility and SEO? And another quick thing you could do for your website, which is kind of third thing for your website, is are your menus and collections up to date? Because my collections would get a little squirrely, especially if you've got like bestsellers or new arrivals and you're like, that new arrival has been here for 6 months. So take a minute to look at your collections that you have set up. Maybe there are some other collections that you can put together. Do your basic, pins, patches, stickers, stationery, stuff like that. So people who are looking for categories and then kind of group them, for cat lovers, science people, nerds, D&D, if you have any kind of content buckets for your stuff. And then you can go from there. Definitely always, always, always have a bestsellers, always have a new arrivals. And if you want to have like a sale or last chance or almost sold out kind of a thing, makes it really easy for people to get what they want and see what they want. But having those kind of collections up to date, because, as you go, especially if you're one person running your business, things get squirrely and then you forget. And so it's good to have a time to sit down and kind of cull through your collections. And it's the same thing with your menus, because your collections should match up with your menus, and make sure that the menu that you have on your site makes it so amazingly easy for people to get to where they need to go. The general rule for me was always 3 clicks. 3 clicks or less to get people to what they want and to buy. So make your menus really clear, make your sections on your site really clear, and make it really, really easy for people to buy. So for your website audit, do your products match your inventory, do basic going through making sure the products work. Check out your photos. and make sure your menus and collections are up to date. That is just basic, good stuff to do for spring cleaning. Now, to go more in depth into an inventory audit, we're not doing full inventory. Like I said before, we're not doing that. But what I want you to do is to sort your inventory by best to worst sellers. See what's actually heading out the door and see what is stagnant. And then I want you to make a couple of decisions. Can you have a sale? Can you get that stuff out the door with just a big blowout flash sale if you want? You could just do a basic thing for your email subscribers. Can you have some kind of discounted BOGO sale for those products that aren't moving? Maybe there are enough products that you can do a mystery box promotion. Put a few good things in there, put a few slow sellers in there, and move inventory that way. Mystery boxes are always fun. I love a mystery box. People who do this really well are Emin Sprout. She'll make stuff specifically for mystery boxes, which I think is really cool. And she's had mystery boxes for years. They're just like a staple in her business. And Danny Brito also does a really great job with his kind of mystery boxes. And there's always such cute stuff in there. And if you're a fan of Danny Brito, I did an episode with him a while back, so I'll have a link to that as well. And then maybe you could also do, if you have these slow sellers, maybe you can do a promotion that's like a free with purchase, just to get it out of the way. You know what I mean? So think about what is moving, what isn't, and get that stuff that isn't moving out the door so you can make room for more of the stuff that is moving. I know it seems pretty obvious, but it's good to sit down and actually take a minute to look through those numbers and make a decision. And you can even set up sales throughout the year if you want, if you see stuff that you want to hop out. Same with second sales. Does your inventory have a ton of seconds? Where can you set your second sale throughout the year? So move what is stagnant and then highlight what is doing well. And then the second thing with an inventory audit that is a little more personal is, what do you like making versus what is selling well? So gauge kind of your interest with your customer, because as someone who absolutely suffered from burnout, you need to find a balance. The balance needs to be there. So there will always be things that you love making that nobody wants to buy. So maybe those are personal projects, or maybe you just have a few things in your shop that you know are going to be slow movers and you don't mind because they brought you a lot of joy to make. But also look at what is moving and see if there are a few things that you're like, these aren't my favorite. People are into it. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to do a few of these and find something that's really fun about that to make for yourself. So kind of gauge where you are in the fun meter of owning a business, because it's so hard when you make creativity your job. It can get really monotonous really quickly, and I want you to have fun, because that's what we do. We start these businesses because we love what we do and we love the things that we draw and make and create, and I want you to keep that energy. So find the balance between what you enjoy making and what is actually selling. Sometimes there's an amazing product that it just sits right in the middle, and it's perfect and it's so fun. The hair clips were like that for me at the very end. I loved making hair clips, and like, if there was any world in which I could still do that and function as a human, I think that would be really fun. Those are really, really great. But yeah, find that balance. It's never going to be perfect, but see what feels good to you. Okay. Last thing is a space audit. I want you to get real honest with yourself and look around at your desk. Look around in your craft closet. Look around at your inventory space. And I want you to clean it. Oh, you gotta clean it. You gotta. Again, you were probably a lot like me, and I'm sure there's a little a dash of neurodivergence in my head. We're working on a diagnosis, to be honest. But there is something about the mess that I make when I have a new product release, you know what I mean? Or when I have a photo shoot. There's so much that you're just scrambling. You're working on so many things all at once because you are just one person. and things fall by the wayside. Are there products that still need to be packaged? I liked to package as much of my stuff as possible, so shipping went a lot faster. So all of my pins were carded. Do you have pins that are just sitting there in a box, half carded, half not? You haven't finished it. You know what I mean? Do you have props from your last photo shoot hanging around? Like, did you go take some really quick photos and then moved over, wrote your little listings, did all your stuff, and then moved on to the next thing? And then you left a lot of props on your little table, and it's kind of a mess. And then you're going to lose them. Maybe. Is your desk a nightmare? Mine is. Mine is right now, and I don't even have a business. What did I do? Why do I do it? It's just the way I exist. So take a day. Just take a day. You could probably take a couple of hours, set a little timer. Things usually go, when it's cleaning, things take a lot less time than you think. That's one thing I like to do. In my head, when I'm doing dishes, I timed myself a while ago, like how long it takes me to unload the dishes from the dishwasher. I don't know why I hate it so much, but I timed myself and I was like, this literally takes 2 minutes. That's nothing. So I know in my head now, I look at the dishes in the dishwasher and I'm like, you know what? It only takes 2 minutes. I'm going to do this. And it really helps me kind of stay motivated to actually do the stuff that's not very fun. But yeah, take some time to reset your space. You will be so glad that you did. You'll be able to breathe a little bit easier. It'll just be nice. You'll be able to have a space to create, to take more photos like we talked about. It'll be really great. Plus, you might even find some extra inventory. That is something that happened to me many times. Stuff that I took photos of that I just left or like put in a little bowl next to wherever. And you're like, oh, I was sold out of these, but now I've got like 5 of them. Then you can sell them. It's wild. And I know you know what I'm talking about. That sounds crazy that you just find a random inventory, but it's true. And I want you guys to validate me because I know y'all have done that too. You found random products that you're like, oh, sweet. Let me add this to the shop. It's so easy to do with small stuff, pins and stickers and things like that. So anyway, clean your workspace. Take some dedicated time. It's spring cleaning time. Open the windows, put on some good music, put on a podcast or an audiobook, and just take some time to reset. I know it feels like you have to go and do so much, but if you take a minute just for yourself to clean your space, to kind of dust off the cobwebs of your shop, figure out what is fun to do for you, it'll feel really good. And that's one way to kind of stave off the burnout of it all. You know what I mean? So I want that for you. I don't want you to be like me, where I was just completely exhausted and didn't enjoy a lot of something that really lit me up before. So spring cleaning is a great time to address a lot of those things. So okay, quick recap of business spring cleaning, website audit, check out your products, make sure they match, do your photography, and check all your menus and your collections, how you organize everything in your shop. With an inventory audit, sort out your best and worst sellers, see how you can get the stuff that's not moving out of there, and then highlight the good stuff, and then clean your space. It'll be good. It'll feel good, I promise. So that is our episode for today. I hope this has been fun or helpful, or, I have faith in you. I know a lot of times it can feel really heavy to kind of review these sorts of things, but if you take a minute for yourself, you'll be able to think more clearly and also enjoy your space and what you're doing a little bit more. You know what I mean? So thank you for listening. I really appreciate you. Be sure to find me all over the place. There are links. I'm on Instagram at the Becky Helms, and you know where to go for all of the links. And I will talk to you later. See you next week.